I think like a lot of people feel the need to have a kid because it's what society expects of them, like their parents, other people, and that there's something wrong with them if they don't get married and if they don't have kids at a specific age. And I think that's, you're just making choices not because you want to, but you are making them because other people want you to or expect you to. And in that case, the consequence is 18 years.
And I can't tell you how many Asian parents look at their kids as investments. And boy, did a lot of the investments turn out to shit.
Lucky Boys Podcast.
I felt really, really depressed. And the thing that made me feel like I had any meaning in my life was that I was going to have kids. And then my kids would be leaders. And I would groom them to be leaders. And like the
so you want kids? Because we never actually crossed that bridge. You guys were really more interested on our take on it.
Like, Norma, how many kids do you want? I'm like 5. Oh, it's like, damn, that's 5. That's a lot.
So how about, so you obviously want kids.
I go back and forth. Back then, it was mostly just like, oh, I guess the meaning of my life is having kids. I'll wait until then.
Okay.
I probably will have kids. I think family is really important. Nelly, do you want to? I know you have some opinions on this.
I have many conflicting feelings about parenthood and having kids because I think, in my opinion, I think some people should not ever be parents. And I think...
Agreed.
Yeah, it's like a hot take, but it's
some
like...
Some people... That's not a hot take. Shoot, I think there's so many people... Look, and I'm sorry to butt in, but I look at so many people who don't want to have kids, end up having kids. And there's so many other people that I know that are trying so darn hard to have children for years unsuccessfully. And that breaks my heart because I know that they're going to be phenomenal parents. They're such a great couple. They're loving, they're giving. They have all of the resources and the tools, and they lived enough of a life to really teach the kids, and they can't have kids. It just blows my mind. It's so cruel sometimes and unfair. So I don't think it's off base to say some people aren't fit to become parents. I think some people can't even take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And I have friends that admit that, like, hey, I am way too selfish to have a kid. I could barely take care of myself. I'm still into partying. I'm still into everything else that's about me.
I think like a lot of people feel the need to have a kid because it's what society expects of them, like their parents, other people, and that there's something wrong with them if they don't get married and if they don't have kids at a specific age. And I think that's, you're just making choices not because you want to, but you are making them because other people want you to or expect you to. And in that case, the consequence is 18 years. And plus, like that, like financially, emotionally, psychologically, like that changes your entire life. And I think people need more forethought in terms of deciding whether or not to have kids. And a lot of people don't think that. So I consider like why I want kids. Is it because I'm lonely? Is it because I think they need to support me when I'm old or things like that? And I want to be at a point in my life where I don't want a kid because I think they owe me anything, or they like I'm having you because like, oh, then you'll take care of me when I'm old, or I don't want to die alone, because that's not good reasons to have kids. But you should bring a kid into the world and into life when you can give them love and you're full and be selfless and put them first. And if you can't do that, I feel like don't have kids.
I think you nailed it right there. And I can't tell you how many Asian parents look at their kids as investments. And boy, did a lot of the investments turn out to shit. I mean, they end up, and it's I'm telling you, the world, it's weird. You know, it's cruel sometimes. It doesn't end up the way you planned it. When they come into this country, they think, you know, their culture when they came in here to think have as many kids because that's a sign of wealth. And the idea is to have your kids, and eventually one of them is going to take care of your ass when you're old. And I've seen old Chinese ladies, Asian ladies out in Chinatown collecting cans. They're grandmas, grandpas. They're out there digging through garbage, you know, because they don't beg. They just find other ways to, I guess, get some stream of revenues. And I ended up talking to 2 of them before. And I was just curious if they like just lived a lonely life, but no, they have kids, several kids. Wow. And they told me that the kids are adults. They have a fine relationship with their kids, but their kids are more detached ever since they had their own family. and they just kind of leave their parents up to their own devices.
Sad.
I guess they have to take care of their immediate family now, their wife, their husband and their children, and they just don't have enough to go around. And also I have a few friends that decided, and this is one of the most fearful things with Asian parents in general. They are terrified of being put in a home.
Oh yeah, my family.
My mom always tells me, "There's like, your ass better not put me in a home. That's the worst thing you can do to me." And I think most Asian parents, like, because when I talk to my friends' moms when I'm over for dinner and I ask them about this stuff, and it's just like, hell no, man, you put my ass in a home, you guys can stop eating this food right now, you know. That's a fear that they all share. They don't want to be put in a home, but I know that some of their worst fears has come true. And when I went to go, actually, I have an uncle. I'm not close to him at all. He wasn't around during my childhood, and he has his own family, but his kids don't see him. They put him in a home. I went to visit him because he has some mental issues now, where he goes in and out of reality, where he knows, well, he's conscious and he remembers me, and then all of a sudden he's like, who the hell? He's like a goldfish, right? So I went to go see him, my mom's brother, and yeah, it was sad. He's looking at a little TV about, I don't know, 8 inches, and he just spaced out. He's talking to me, and when he looks at me, he looks past me. It's the strangest thing. And he has kids. He has 3 kids, my cousins, and yeah, they don't go see him.
Oh, that's
and
sad.
his wife is still alive, and she doesn't go see him. They put his ass in a home once he got, I guess part of his mental wasn't right, his health deteriorating due to several years of heavy drinking. But yeah, it stinks. So it's weird the way things work. What occurred to give you that type of awareness in
Just
your
think
life?
a lot.
It was not like experience, something you experienced in the past. It's more of like the way you think,
Yeah.
the way you approach the world.
I think it's just the way that I think and the way I perceive the world. So like, if I'm walking down a street, I'm not just walking down the street. I am aware of everything. So I see a homeless person and I'm like, why are they there? What's their backstory? I'm like very curious. I would want to talk to them. And I think about like how they got here, because a lot of them don't speak English. So I'm like, you probably came from a different country. When, where, like, what was that process? What job did you do? Like, where are your kids? If you have kids, or if you have a husband or a wife, or like, how are you here? And then I also think about how that connects to like larger systemic issues of like racism, sexism, like capitalism is like the root of all evil, and basically everything. And then you like continue walking. I see a kid. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, where did that kid come from? Like, are they going to go here? Like, college is expensive. Are they going to go to college? Like, it's just like all these thoughts. And then I enjoy people watching. So just like observing how people behave, act, their attitudes. And I also read a lot. So I think it's just like a combination of everything, and questioning why I think the things I think, why I do the things I do, and why I behave certain things or certain ways. And then you can identify like everything wrong with a person now ties it back to childhood. So I'm just like, it's really easy to fuck up a kid. And if you have the capabilities to not produce any more fucked up people into the world, then take that as initiative. Like, if you are not okay, don't have a kid. But if you are in that mental space where you can give love to a child, then do so. And I think a lot of pain and suffering in this world would not cease to, or would cease to exist to some extent, if people were more empathetic, compassionate, and just like aware of themselves.
It's the programming that they're putting in them. I don't think that's the intention all the time. I think in some forms it can be toxic, especially in a high expectation household where they want you to be a star baseball player, a star basketball player, a star student, and somehow you're not built like that. That doesn't really make you jive. There's no passion in it. There's no movement there. And I think continue to push a child, saying no, you just have without seeing what your child for what he or she really is, but continuing to push that could be problematic. Even if you're a good parent, even if you're a good parent, you can fuck the kid up in that way, right? I've seen so many kids like that in sports, and where they were just forced to do things, and when they became an adult, they completely abandoned ship, completely, and did the opposite of what their parents ever wanted, because that wasn't a life for them. And it all goes back to being true to yourself.